Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Final Whistle, where we give you everything football, X's and O's, expert analysis, and yes, we will roast Auburn every now and then. And I would not be the man that I am right now without my Rowdy Rupert brothers with me, the Avengers, the Crimson Avengers. To my immediate left, the keeper of Blaze Hayes, Ty Hayes, Mr. Around the Table Sports. How are you, sir?
Don't forget the disappointer of Grandalf, right? The keeper of Blaze, the disappointer of Grandalf. Hey, give me my title.
I'm
doing good. I'm
glad you're doing good. And ladies and gentlemen, my partner in chicken and ribs, meat, food. Chris James, number 32 in your hearts. How y'all doing? How you doing today, sir?
Oh, what's up, man? How y'all doing? Long week. It felt like it's been forever since we were on here last. So it just shows you how busy we are during the week, man. But once we get together, we're taking the gloves off, baby. We're ready to roll. Let's get it.
No gloves, I see. Okay. Speaking of no gloves, bare knuckle brawler, the one and only Mr. Debo himself, Lushan, final whistle analyst. He said he's excited for a great show tonight. Mr. Lushan, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be back here for another week on the greatest show with the greatest dudes talking about the greatest football team and dadgum land. Let's go, baby. Roll Tide.
Roll dadgum Tide. And ladies and gentlemen, my partner in crime, Mr. two-time Galette's world shot drinker of the strip. They retired his shorts at Galette's. Ladies and gentlemen,
Duckhead.
And only Daniel Petty, how are you?
Hey, as excited as Hugh Freeze on Massage Parlor Monday, baby.
Oh, we started early. Let's go. It's going to be an exciting show. You know it's going to be an exciting. Oh, coming in.
Oh,
speaking
of dancing. Dan.
James, how are you, sir?
Man, I don't know. I must be in the Twilight Zone tonight, man. It's another one of those nights in South Georgia.
I know.
The face only a mother to love.
You did double duty bingo hall tonight?
Hey, I'm burning the candle on both ends.
Whoa! I love that.
He performed his Men in Black skit. Look at the black shirt.
But listen. Just like Dan is the one-stop shop for all the elderly ladies in Southern Georgia, the Bama Standard is the one-stop shop for your Crimson Tide content. Hit that like, subscribe button. Yes, this is the final whistle. And yes, hit that like, subscribe button. Tell somebody about our show. And if you want to take your business to the next level, digital marketing, hit up Workspace Solutions. That's Workspace Solutions at workspacepros.com. That is workspacepros.com. If you want to level up and take your online digital presence for your business, it could be parlors down on the plains. If you need to take it to the next level, go international. Hugh Freeze. Go to workspacepros.com. Guys, it's been an exciting week. We got so much to discuss. A little breaking news kind of dropped yesterday. Some news regarding Alabama football this season. Alabama going up to Wisconsin. That kickoff is at 11 a.m. Central on Fox Sports channel. That's going to be the big Fox Sports game that Saturday. Crimson Tide going up against the Badgers up in Madison, Wisconsin. It's going to be loud, rowdy. Let's preview these games, and I'll start the floor with Mr. Around the Table Sports himself. Ty Hayes, give us your thoughts regarding Alabama, Wisconsin, your expert's analysis of this preview of this matchup.
Yeah, listen, I think Alabama's going to win. right? Like I'll get the hard part out the way early, but do not think that this is going to be a walk in the park. Wisconsin has a real solid head coach. Last year was a little bit of a rebuild. Now, I don't know what their quarterback situation is going to look like. Nick Evers transferred from Oklahoma to Wisconsin, thought that he'd be able to do something there, has since transferred out. Tyler Van Dyke is up there, but I don't know that he's captured the job. They're going to need a quarterback if they're going to beat Alabama. And I understand Alabama is a different defense this year, but even in a 4-2-5, like, I think, and spoiler alert, I think a healthy Jaheim Otis plus Keenan on the interior, plus either, Jamarian Latham, LT Overton on one side, or whoever it may be, Keanu Cott, Quay Rousseau, Yonze Pierre, Noah Carter. I mean, who do you want?
Tim Smith.
Tim Smith would be on the interior, right? Like
James Smith.
If I'm going down the line, right?
Tim can play inside or outside.
Yeah, but I think in this defense they're going to put him inside, right?
Yeah,
I think
so
he'll probably be inside to maximize his strength. But point of the matter is, like, I just don't think that if you can't test Alabama deep, you're going to be able to run on them. Because if they can just predict you're going to run, it's going to be a long day. But here's why I say don't just underestimate Wisconsin. If we look at who Wisconsin plays before, it's WMU and South Dakota. Meaning they have two cakewalks. Alabama's going to play Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's got some solid players, man. Anthony Johnson Jr. was just in the transfer portal, one of 4 cornerbacks in the nation last year to grade above a 90. He's back at Western Kentucky. Then you get South Florida, and South Florida runs that veer and shoot offense that is real tough to defend, right? An offshoot of the Heupel offense. And so the reason why I bring that to your attention, Wisconsin is going to be prepping for Alabama tomorrow. Right? Like, that's just the nature of the game. Alabama, they can't overlook a South Florida. And I know there might be some people scoff, but that offensive system, you overlook that. Next thing you know, you're looking at a game. I mean, it's a tough offensive system to go against. All that being said, though, give me Bama by 2 touchdowns.
I like it. Do you have a score?
Probably not right now, just because I have no idea what their quarterback situation is, so I don't even know where to begin. So come fall,
we'll say 14-0.
I mean, listen, it wouldn't surprise me, but I expect them to do something. I really thought Tyler Van Dyke would lock up this job. I mean, Mario Cristobal hasn't exactly been known as a quarterback whisperer. Every quarterback that he's had, if Cam Ward doesn't succeed, we will have huge questions about Cristobal. Tyler Van Dyke regressed every year under Mario Cristobal. I thought that a change of scenery would do him good, but he hasn't gotten the job yet. So I don't have a score in mind, but I'm super excited.
Mr. Dan James, Brother Love, give us your prediction about Bama versus the Badgers.
Yeah, like you say, Luke Fickell, 7-6 in his first season. He gave us a game at Cincinnati, well, they were competitive, but listen, I expect it to be, a rowdy environment, early kickoff. So, but like Ty said, I'm expecting a multiple score game, with Bama coming out on top. Just like, they can start prepping for Bama, but, they don't know what to expect from Bama yet. So, I expect us, we have too much talent on the field at the end of the day to see much problem from Wisconsin, too much talent, too much depth. So, but it's good. It's a great opportunity for us to go on the road early in the season, get that experience, with the experienced team out the way, so, it's something we haven't seen in a while since I think we played Penn State, over a decade ago, so that's the last time we was up in Big Ten country. But, I expect Jalen Milroe and company to be up to the task.
I agree. Speaking up to the task, Chris James, what are your thoughts regarding Bama and Madison, something that nobody has kind of mentioned that you're more excited to see? Or what do you want to see outcome-wise, Alabama coming out of this game?
I want to see Bama win by at least 17. by at least 3 possessions to feel comfortable. I'm not worried about offense. I think we'll be able to score on them offensively. Defensively, like I know we were missing some pieces A-Day, but maybe it was our offense. But Lucian and Justin and I, we were sitting there looking like, hey, the offense moving the ball a little too easy for my liking, and we're not used to that. So
Yeah.
So I just want to see the defense buckle down, man. I think we start to run and force them into passing situations, 3rd and long. We just can't let them pick up chunk plays, chunk yards on 1st and 2nd down. Get them in 3rd and long, and it'll be a blowout if we can do that. But I'm just glad it's not at nighttime, because when they play jump around, that crowd gets lit, man.
Yeah.
That crowd, they turn it up, man. So I'm glad it's an early kickoff, because I mean we're used to those we're used to playing at any time, to be honest. But 11 o'clock, that doesn't phase us. You remember, Matt, when we used to be on those JP Jefferson Pilot sports games?
Pilot, baby.
We used to those Jefferson Pilot sports games, man. We were up at 7. But Bama's had a few of those, like Texas 2 years ago. Well, it's been a few games, some of those non-conference games, early kickoff. So, and plus it's hard for a crowd to be in it that early, man. But I expect Wisconsin's crowd to be ready, because they haven't seen nothing like Bama, probably until Ohio State or Michigan comes into town. Other than that, they don't see much like that. So I just expect us to really go in there and handle business. If we like I said, if we stop the run early, man, it's gonna be a long day for them. Because I don't think that their receivers can just beat our secondary, mano a mano. I just think that we out talent them. And then plus we got their best defensive coach that knows their system. So
that'll be huge. Lucian, give us your expert analysis. Maybe talk about something that maybe nobody has talked about, or if they did, just want to hear your take regarding this topic.
I mean, like everybody said, it's way too early. I mean, the quarterback competition that they got going up there, the replacement they're going to have to do with some of the players that turn pro, I haven't really been able to dive too much into it. But here's what I expect, and this is flat out. I expect change, and I expect it early on in the season, and it better happen by game 3. And here's the change I'm talking about. I'm talking about how our team comes out and plays the first 3 games. If we come out and we're lackadaisical, there hasn't been a change. But if you believe how I believe, and I know a lot of these guys, if not all, believe on this panel, that there has been a change in the water down in Tuscaloosa, and it has been a change for the positive. And I think that when we go to Wisconsin, whatever they call that weird state to my left, it's going to shock the nation. And it's going to shock the nation in a very, very disturbing way, because they're going to realize something that the rest of us already know, that Bama ain't going nowhere, and we're going to inflict pain, and y'all better be ready for it. And it's not going to be until after we go up and stomp out Wisconsin. This is no disrespect to them as a program. This is my confidence in Kalen DeBoer, which we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But I expect pain. I expect an absolute ass whooping, because that's what Alabama does on the road.
What you predict? Pain.
Pain. I love it. I love
Nothing but pain.
You got a score prediction around that, Lucian, or?
I do. I'm gonna give the kicker some love. I'm gonna go 38-3.
Okay. Patty, I know me and you'll be watching the game at those fine brewery establishments in Milwaukee. Do you think Alabama goes vanilla? Do you think they kind of, it is 2 weeks before they play Georgia. Just give me something you think, your thoughts regarding this game versus the Badgers.
I don't think they have to do too much. You look at Vegas. Vegas has them at a 6.5 over under for their win total on the season. So I mean, they're like around 10th in the Big Ten, behind teams like Maryland, who smoked mighty Auburn. So they don't think much of I don't think Wisconsin's going to be very good because like Ty started out with, I actually think Dyke is going to be your starter by default because there's no other dudes. But you said he didn't get much quarterback whispering with Cristobal. Well, guess who his offensive coordinator is now? Phil Longo. Let me tell you how crappy this guy is. Phil Longo once upon a time was at Ole Miss and had guys named Dawson Knox, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and they couldn't sniff a ball game. Dawson Knox didn't even score a touchdown in college under the tutelage of the mighty Phil Longo. So don't worry about the tight end in this game. But no, I don't. Their offense went from a sucky run it all the time offense that was vanilla to an offense that tries to throw it. That's not very good because it's not even he doesn't have a passing skeleton. He just has throw it to open space. Receivers don't have a passing tree. It's one of the dumbest offenses ever. That's why it really didn't advance any of the quarterbacks. Why he was at North Carolina. It's why he didn't advance Jordan Tomeu at Ole Miss. No, man, it's a dumb offense. And I think it's a game Alabama absolutely, on paper, it's a win just because you look at Vegas has what, Bama 9.5, Wisconsin 6.5. The only thing they got in their advantage is it's a home game. But like Chris and them said, I think the advantage goes to Alabama and that on the road when you're playing at 11 o'clock. They don't have time to drink beer. The jump around won't be, the jump around will just be them getting to do it because they're getting to do it against the SEC team. But I believe by that point, the game will be out of reach.
Now, one thing I will say is while their offense is going to be absolutely awful, and yes. I fully expect that, right? That's why I'm like, I think Alabama easy, double-digit win. I think that's easy. They do have some defensive backs now who are exceptional. Ricardo Hallman, if he would have entered the transfer portal, would have been one of the best defensive backs available. He logged 7 interceptions this past season. I broke down a lot of Ricardo Hallman film, and that guy is insane. Now, luckily, Alabama's got a lot of good wide receivers now, right? And we haven't even started to talk about Amari Jefferson, Rico Scott, Ryan Williams coming into the fold, not to mention Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, Emmanuel Henderson, the often forgot about Jaron Hamilton, Jeremy Bernard, Caleb Odom. So you got a lot there. CJ Diprey at tight end, Danny Lewis there. Josh Cuevas coming in from Washington, didn't have a huge year in 2023, but if you go back, 2023, if you go back to 2022, he was at 652 yards, huge player in that offense. And in fact, in 2023, he averaged 41 yards per reception. So Bama has got a lot of weapons, but Ricardo Hallman, someone I wouldn't test for the sake of testing him, right? Like that guy, they tested him last year. He got 7 interceptions. They got a safety, Hunter Wohler, who's solid. But Ricardo Hallman, I told y'all, if he jumped in the portal, I wanted Bama to go get him. I was praying every day that the portal was open. Like, Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. All I ask is that you do the same for us. But Bama's going to handle them. Bama's going to be their Super Bowl. Let's be honest here. That's how every team is when Bama comes in. What other team have y'all seen tear down a goalpost whenever they beat Bama or whenever they beat anybody? Bama lost the last 4 games Bama has lost. They've rushed the field. Nobody else gets that treatment.
Nope.
So we're their Super Bowl, which makes it even better that we get them early.
I agree. And I think you mentioned it. Matchup, I'm going to be looking for how the offense handles that vaunted defensive secondary that they have. I think that'll be a good pre-test, us going up against Georgia, being ready to handle those guys. And Lushawn, what were we going to say?
I also, it's going to be a introduction to Alabama's run game.
Yeah, good play
against Wisconsin.
Yeah,
because I think we're going to pound that rock. I'm not taking any disrespect from our receivers, but we cannot forget the talent and heavily stocked room that is our running back room, y'all. You can't forget that.
Chris says we're living in the past. My brother in Christ, you can't live in the past, present, or future because all that contains for Auburn fans is sadness.
Speaking of Auburn, when you said Phil Longo, I thought that was Hugh Freeze's handle.
Was his offensive coordinator.
My brother, y'all lost to New Mexico State. Y'all lost to New Mexico State University.
I didn't even
know
that.
The future. You mean future massage parlor appointments, right?
I didn't know. I'm like, Lushawn, I didn't know they had a college football team.
Future happy endings.
I didn't.
Oh. That's sad. Okay.
Oh man. So listen, I think we're all excited about that early kickoff up there in Madison. And guys, speaking of the team Crimson Tide, we were able to fill some holes in the portal with some guys coming in. You like that? You like that?
No Diddy.
Phrasing.
Are we still doing phrasing?
Yeah, we were able to fill some much needed holes,
that
guys, with some talented guys that can play, all over the field. So guys, let's talk about how we fill those holes and those needs in the portal.
Oh, God bless.
King Mack and Geno VanDeMark. Let's go reverse. Let's go Petty. You go first regarding this topic.
Oh, of course y'all go with me on this one when I was ready on all the other ones. Hey man, it just fills needs on the line that I think you got to have. I'm sorry, man. I keep reading that tagline, and all I can think is Jameis Winston still in King Crab Legs. I don't know why the King Mac is throwing me completely off. I'm completely out of my game on this one, but no. I'm gonna let Dan talk more on this one. He knows more about these. These are both offensive linemen, right, in the portal?
No.
See, there we go. Y'all gonna have to get me on this one.
Okay. We know you're trying to log out of farmers.com.
Let me take it.
Yeah, are these names? Yeah, were these farmer.com portal guys? Where we working with? Fill me in here.
Let me take it.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go, Chris.
I'll take King Mack, Dan.
Okay.
All right. With King Mack, you're getting a former top 100 defensive back out of St. Thomas Aquinas, man. Everybody
that's that kid. There we go.
very, very high on him. He's been compared to Buda Baker, the former Washington Husky DB NFL defensive back. He's a stud, man. They feel like he's best at just how he flies to the ball. He's another guy that you add to a Red Morgan, to a Draco Patrick Jr., just a bunch of relentless dogs, ball hawks on the back end, the kind that you would rather have on your sideline. He's not the biggest guy, but he's big enough. He's not the tallest guy, I'm sorry, but he's plenty big enough to help in run support. He's very physical. I think he ran a 4.4. Was it 4.44, Dan, or something like that?
Yeah. 10.6 100-meter.
Yeah, and then I think didn't he win like something in the 400 in the state of Florida, 400 meters or something. But he can run, man. The guy can run. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's a really good blitzer and pass coverage. He's somebody that could get into the body of the receiver and rip the ball out. If a big receiver was to catch it over, he's the type that can get into his body and rip it out. Just plays like a Javier Arenas, I guess, as far as in coverage. But on the back end, he's like another Red Morgan, like a Honey Badger type, but a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker kid, probably in the 190 pound range. Like I said, for him to be, a 5'10" defensive back, and you're ranked in the top 100 overall, you know how they love it with those 6'1", 6'2" guys that they have ranked up there high. To be 5'10", that their height and be ranked in the top 100 speaks volumes of the type of player he is. And I think that he has 3 years of eligibility left, so he's gonna be a guy that I expect to contribute early while he's on campus. But 25 is the year that you really should expect for him to take off.
In retrospect, Chris, that was going to be my exact breakdown.
I knew it. Dang, you'll take VanDeMark.
Yes, man. This is one I love really for depth purposes. We lost, on the heels of us losing James Brockermeyer, we were able to fill the hole with a little experience. Man, I hate you. Oh,
phrasing,
man. Paul. But we're able to feel the need with a guy who we will probably use as a swing person along the interior. So Coach Cap, when he was at Michigan State, he teaches all his linemen to be able to snap the ball. So, he's a guy that can be able to fill in at either guard slot or center, so he'll be probably our first guy up on the interior, should one of our guys go down. And he can also come in and compete for a starting position, So I'm expecting him to contribute, early. I think he has 3 years of eligibility left. So he was originally a 3-star according to the 247 composite. But he's some guy, he's somebody that, that fits what we're trying to do along the offensive line.
LaShawn, give us your take, and I'm going to switch up the portal topic with Ty after this.
Kalen DeBoer just went out and addressed some needs of the team. He's basically done something that most not even fifth-year head coaches are going to do, and that's successfully not get hurt by the transfer portal, but at the same time gain in the transfer portal. You don't see that very often. And in a first-year head coach, I'm telling you guys, that is not only respectable, that should be a very, very big clue into how this season is going to go and how he's going to be able to handle the adversities in and throughout this SEC season. You got it. I'm giving him an A in the transfer portal with how he's been able to operate through everything. So these additions are exciting. I'm excited to see Mack. He gives me a little bit of Cy Jones vibes, the way he moves and is physical. But the VanDeMark kid, he looks physical in all the film I've seen him, man. He looks like a specimen. So put him in an Alabama weight room. Can't wait to see what he looks like come September and October. So, like I said, I'm just excited to see what they do on the field.
Good. So, Ty, do you think, you're around the table sports, you follow all of college football. Do you think Alabama's done with the portal? I know, is Khalil Mack still, or Khalil Jacobs, I'm sorry. I wish we did have Khalil Mack, but Khalil Jacobs, what are you hearing regarding the portal, and is Alabama quite done in this cycle?
I think they're done. The way I understood it before they got those 3 commitments of, Jones, Deshaun Jones, King Mack, and Geno VanDeMark, they had 3 spots left. Well, they got 3 commitments. If I'm not mistaken, Khalil Jacobs was originally set to be here last weekend. That got postponed. Then he was set to be here this weekend. I haven't heard anything about a visit if it went down. But I also think that one of the things we have to understand is he has the ability to be a starter somewhere. But at Alabama, he would be working at best to be in the second rotation, right? And then even then, you got a guy like Justin Nwankwo, who just now started getting to America and playing ball. You guys remember, whenever he committed, I have said this since early signing day. People asked, who is the gem of this class? And I have continually beat the table and said Justin Nwankwo is the gem of this class. Nick Saban said he would be a 5-star if he played in America. You watched A-Day. The young man was in his first game in the United States and he looked like he was already deserving to be with the second unit. He's still figuring out what's what. Fall camp is going to be so good for him. If your second unit is any combination of Justin Jefferson, Jeremiah Alexander, Justin Jefferson, Justin Nwankwo, you are in a really good position, not to mention a Caleb Jones, who I thought was very impressive as well, very impressive in the All-American game. But if I could also touch on, Geno VanDeMark and King Mack, like everybody said, King Mack, super versatile in terms of, I think he could play 2 positions in this secondary really fluently. He is rangy, right? Like you could put him as more of that. I'm always going to defer to like a nickel defensive
Husky.
Back where Husky, or you could have him back deep. Like he has the ranginess to play the deep safety. He can really cover, but I like him more at the Husky. But Geno VanDeMark, one of the things that's so interesting about this gentleman is he can play center, he can play guard, but you know who else can play center and guard? Parker Brailsford. I was watching Washington versus Arizona State when I was scouting for Ed Woods, and what I noticed is in that game, the right guard got a little banged up, and Kalen DeBoer and Scott Huff moved Parker Brailsford from center to right guard because they didn't feel like they had a right guard that could get the job done, but they felt like, hey, we still have a center that can be serviceable, but we're going to be in trouble if we put anybody else at right guard. Parker Brailsford can start at any of the interior positions plus center. Gentlemen, as we sit here, if Parker Brailsford is the guy, do you realize that Alabama will have 3 of the top 10 highest graded interior offensive linemen in the nation? Parker Brailsford's the highest graded returning center, and he was a freshman. Now he's in Bama's strength and conditioning program. Come on. Lushawn, I'll raise you. And you know me, I tend to be, whenever we talk about, I'm an optimistic person until we talk about maybe some portal additions and recruit, and then I can become a little, I don't want to say pessimistic, but I'm a little stubborn. I give them an A+. If we're just talking about what Coach DeBoer has done since he got here, a lot of those losses came when Saban retired, right? That's understood. But you're talking about Sab. You're talking about Parker Brailsford, Josh Cuevas, Jeremy Bernard, Deshaun Jones. You're talking King Mack, Geno VanDeMark. I mean, what he had, plus Graham Nicholson. He replaced a guy that should have won the Lou Groza with the guy that did win the Lou Groza. I got to give him an A+ for what he's done in the portal.
Well,
Go
ahead, Matt.
Oh no, go Petty.
No, and given, look, man, the greatest coach in the history of football left. It was, a lot of people thought there may even be a mass exodus. The fact that he kept mostly intact what he needed to keep intact is got to grade into that as well. And the fact he was able to come in and keep the house together and pretty much united says a lot. And then when what was lost was pretty much, like you said, replaced. I don't know much about these guys here. That's why I let y'all roll with it. But no, it seems like everything he's lost, he's brought in with an appropriate or better piece.
We're all in agreement that Caleb Downs was the biggest loss. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it goes without saying.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you know what's crazy, Petty? If we look at the entirety of the transfer portal, both winter window and spring window, obviously Caleb Downs was the #1 safety available. All good. Bama got 2 of the top 5 in King Mack and Keon Sabb. So, like, listen, Caleb Downs is a monster. They got 2 monsters in. I'm not saying they're going to be Caleb Downs, but what I am saying is when you look at it, they mitigated the loss as best as you possibly could. Hats off to the staff.
Woman, say something. I think I have Caleb Downs as like the second biggest loss. Well, the reason being because of this system he's in. Like if we were still in Saban's defense with him, you know, sometimes being a high safety, sometimes in the box. Like in this defense right here, I don't think he would be like the free safety. I think he would be a one of the Husky or the Rover because and therefore that was going to limit his production. You get what I'm saying? Because teams, if you're at Husky or if you're at Rover, teams can shy away from you. They can run away from you. You get what I'm saying? But if you line up in the middle of the field and too high, or you're a single high and you're coming down, you can make plays. That's how he made a lot of his tackles last year. But I think that he would have ended up being a Husky or a Rover, and his production would have gone down as far as tackles because teams would have been avoiding him. So, but I think
you can scheme for that though. Like if you know where they're going to go, that inherently gives you a massive advantage.
Yeah, that's true. I think the biggest loss still is Julian Sayin, because I think he's going to flat out tear it up at Ohio State. I really believe he's gonna be like it at Ohio State. So
you said Ohio State and Lushawn caught a shiver.
Yeah, I know.
As if Ryan Day makes it through the year.
Matt, so with that being said, I give him a D.
Speaking of D, guys, if you want to be unlike Hugh Freeze and not have a crusty towel, get a title towel from at wetwillsports.com. That's wetwillsports.com. You can have an uncrusted towel, unlike Hugh Freeze's towels closet. They wash, you get all the stains out. They come in crimson title towels, and you can wave them. They won't be stiff, crusted up like Hugh Freeze's towels, guys. Go to wetwillsports.com, get a title towel, and use the promo code STANDARD. That is STANDARD A-R-D.
Hey,
What
Ty.
you say, Chris?
Ty, you like how I set that up?
Yeah.
Because I completely agree that Caleb Down was the biggest loss. I just had to set that one up.
Yeah.
That was dastardly. That was good though. That was good. And then Lushawn with the towel. That
Tied the towel
that was good.
time, and I was like,
That
oh,
good.
this is going good.
That was really good.
Anytime we can roast Hugh Freeze and, inappropriate ways, I'm all here for it. Well, Hugh Freeze will be getting dominated, not by the feds, but by Kalen DeBoer. Guys, and a lot of guys or media pundits are disrespecting the Crimson Tide and Kalen DeBoer. I think I just saw a tweet saying Clay Travis,
Oh, well, I mean,
guys' favorite media guy, said the Crimson Tide will lose by double digits in Knoxville. To add on to the disrespect, what we're going to say, Chris?
Let Lou. Lou been waiting for this one.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to Luke first.
Hold on, I'm trying to point to him.
To add to the disrespect of
No, I'll go last. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it home.
add
I'll
to
bring it
the
home.
disrespect of Kalen DeBoer. Let's go with Mr. Around the Table, Ty Haynes. The DeBoer disrespect. What do you make of it? What I know it's the off season. People got to make clicks and likes and sell stories, but do you think this is a wise idea? In my opinion,
no, it's not a wise idea. Listen, I loved whenever he went on to the Pat McAfee show and they were making a joke, right? And they were telling him like, oh, your record at Sioux Fall doesn't count, right? Because you were only beating Sioux Fall level competition with Sioux Fall level resources, with Sioux Fall level players. And the whole thing is it's like everybody wants to say that doesn't count. But there were two NFL guys, Pat McAfee and Butler was there. And they were both saying like, he's doing it with equitable talent. He didn't walk into Sioux Fall with the 85 Bears and start whipping everybody. Like he had that level of talent and whipped everybody. He inherited a Washington program that was 4-8 and a disaster. They were a defensive-led team before he got there. Jimmy Lake, right, was the head coach for a time period. They were 4-8. He had to completely change the philosophy to become his philosophy. He went 11-2 year one after inheriting a 4-8 program. He went 14-1 the next year, going to the national championship. I'm not going to stay on this long. If you want to ask questions, if you want to say, hey, I know he's a great coach, the SEC is a different landscape, I'm curious. I will tell you, hey, I think he's going to be successful. That's fair. But to act like the guy can't coach. Now, gentlemen, he has more freshman 5-stars on this roster than he had on the entirety of Washington's roster. Do you realize that Washington is one of only 2 teams since the inception of the college football playoffs that have won a college football playoff game without satisfying the blue chip ratio, having over 50% of your roster be 4 or 5 stars? There's only 2 teams that have done it. And he beat Texas to do it. Like, the guy can flat out coach. He is a really solid coach. And listen, question him at your own peril. But the disrespect is ridiculous. Those are just people that absolutely don't know what they're talking about. And it infuriates me whenever, I'm out here making 26-minute videos all day and there's someone else getting paid millions of dollars for just spewing utter nonsense.
Exactly. Hey, Ty.
Yeah.
I want to challenge the panel. Who was the second team that Ty was just referenced?
That won a playoff game with a less ratio of 5 stars.
Yep. Under 50% blue chip ratio. There's only been 4 or 5 make the playoffs without satisfying the blue chip
Auburn?
ratio. No.
You can't think about it. 2 years ago. Boom, boom.
Yep. TCU.
Yes, sir.
TCU. Okay.
I completely blocked that whole playoff out of my head. I'm sorry.
Teams. No,
the 5 teams that have made the college football playoffs without satisfying the blue chip, and it might be 4. You're talking 2017 Washington. You're talking 2021 Cincinnati. Obviously, this year's Washington and TCU. So it is 4. It's only 4. We're talking 4 out of 40.
Damn.
That's insane.
What about that Notre Dame team that we
Yeah,
played?
they came in at
Oh,
52.
they did.
Yeah, Notre Dame gets a lot of 4 stars.
Yeah.
And a lot of catfish.
Yes, Chris, if you take away the quarterback and receivers, I mean, if you take away the hand job, it's not a happy ending. So, I mean, it's just a massage.
Let's go.
I mean, hell, but he had those people because he got them there. But, you know, I digress.
Did he just not hear anything that Ty just said?
Oh, my goodness.
Did you the statement you just made? Were you not listening?
He was typing.
Chris, tell me this. What has Hugh Freeze done as a head coach that's compared to Kalen DeBoer outside of jobs?
Play the Jeopardy music again.
Damn.
I can't take it, y'all. Blaze can't take
All
it.
right, sorry to derail. My bad.
Blaze can't take it, man. You can't
Had to
Blaze.
answer our boy Chris over here.
Talk about the disrespect that they are.
I'm with Ty 100%. This guy took a 4-8 team. You know, a 4-8 Washington team. Then the very next year went 11-2. Granted, it was in the Pac-12, but people, they're selling Kalen DeBoer short. Kalen DeBoer has been hitting everything. He's been killing it, recruiting,
Hitting.
PR, getting the team, rallying the team, getting everything in place. Kalen DeBoer been killing it, and people are selling them short. But people said the same thing about another coach at the Capstone. People were saying the same thing when we hired Nate Oates.
Nate Oates.
Yep.
People said the same thing. So it's up to Coach DeBoer to prove it. It ain't up to us to prove it. It's up to Coach DeBoer to prove it, and he's gonna prove it. Like it or not, he's gonna prove it. He's doing everything. How long were we mourning the retirement of Coach Saban? Then we get Coach DeBoer, and look how he's rallied the fan base. He sparked excitement within the fan base. I don't think that we could have, Dan Lannon, whatever they were talking about, he wouldn't have been able to do this.
No.
So we got the right guy in Tuscaloosa to get the job done. So, and I 100% believe that, we're going to be talking about him in the same breath as Saban and the Bear.
And before anybody else goes, Daniel Denny, I love your hair, but he says again, DeBoer has not coached in the SEC before. The SEC is a different breed in the Pac-12. I agree, but the Pac-12, ironically, was fantastic on their deathbed, and Auburn, in all of their steam and glory, lost to a Conference USA team. I don't want to hear anything.
At home.
Hey,
they lost to the Fighting Kyle Hendersons. I'm just leaving it at that.
hey. But Matt and Lou will tell you, like when we met with the board and that staff and just listened to them, it took me no time to be sold, man. Like it was awesome, man. Like that guy has a plan, man. He has it well together, and he gets it. Like the way he welcomes back like the former players and to be around them, just he gets it, man. That guy gets it. He gets it, and it's like. He's smart, man. Like we were watching that offense, 8-8, man. We were watching how they were like just making it. They made our defense look, and our defense is pretty darn good. And they made our defense look like child's play. Like he was making quick work of the defense, and the improvement that you saw from Milroe, like just from his progressions, and just the way the O-line blocked. Minus Caden Proctor and minus Parker Brailsford, who are going to be 2 starters that were missing. And no Jaheim Otis, no Jahad Campbell, and it was. I don't even remember seeing. Did we see Jaleel Hurley? I don't even think Jaleel Hurley played.
He was hurt, I believe.
Yeah, just to have those guys missing, and those are headliners, man. But just the way he had that offense, I haven't seen our offense like move like that up and down the field since 2020. That was the last time I seen our offense look that impressive.
Patty, talking about disrespect of DeBoer.
I'm gonna be real. I don't think as much as disrespect towards DeBoer is. Look, man, people have been waiting on Nick Saban to retire for years. They're just hoping because he sucked the life out of every other program. He was like Larry Bird walking into that 3-point contest and saying, who's playing for second every damn year? Who's playing for second? And people were tired of it. So I don't think it's much as disrespect as it's the hope and prayer that this guy can't do what Nick Saban has done for over a decade at Alabama. And it's so, man, this guy, he can't be Saban. He can't be Saban. Well, I hate to break it. There's a good chance he will be able to take over and keep winning because like Ty and all y'all have alluded to, he's done it everywhere he's gone. But, man, I think it's more hope from people that this is that he can't keep going because Saban's now gone. But, yeah, man, that's all it is, hope.
I agree. And, Lushawn, before I give it to you, I'm just going to piggyback off what Chris and all you guys said that DeBoer, listen, we got the right guy. I mean, just look at his staff. He always seems to be thinking like Coach Saban as I'm present, but I'm thinking on down the line, just in my little interaction with him. He just seems like he's got it. And yes, it might not be Nick Saban-esque, but he's doing it in his way. And I say I welcome all the disrespect. I want all the bulletin board material. I think that's just going to help.
Well, and to piggyback on that, man, it's kind of exciting because as Bama fans, man, we were walking in every year saying who's playing for second. Well, oh, now you're going to disrespect us. Now we get to kind of come in with that chip on our shoulder that you think we can't do it now, damn it. So it's kind of a fun breath of fresh air that, all right, now we're still the king of this hill, but now we got to prove it again and we get to get more of a chip. So yeah, I'll it's exciting in that vein.
Lushawn, the floor is yours.
Take it.
All right, y'all. 104-12. That makes out to about 87%, right? Now, I don't know about any of y'all, but I'm pretty sure most of us got jobs, right? That we go to every day that we get paid money for. I question anybody watching this video right now. Do you at your job have an 87% success rate? I'd put money on that most of us don't. I sure don't. I'll make hella mistakes. I mean, I'm human. This man, at every turn that he has been successful. Every turn, no matter what's been thrown at him. As Ty alluded to, he inherited a dumpster fire in Washington and turned it around and damn near won a natty last year. If it wasn't for them damn cheating Wolverines. That's another story. But not only did he accomplish that, he takes on probably one of the most confusing, most just not even plausible coaching positions after, and I will say the greatest football coach, nay, even the greatest coach, period, decided to hang it up. But he stepped in, and not only did he step in, he succeeded. He put in place around him a coaching staff with 2 head coaches and put them at positional coaches. Now, I know some of the fan base doesn't understand what that means but when you're a head coach and you can concentrate on a position, what that does to player development, what that does to the knowledge that these kids are now receiving. This coaching staff is better than it's been in the past because we have better, effective coaches. Kalen DeBoer has surrounded himself with guys that not only love the game of football, but love seeing young men succeed. And they've done it at all stops. Every single guy on our coaching staff has had success, have put players in the NFL. Hell, we got a guy that's even coached in the NFL on our coaching staff. There's not very many programs that have that. He's brought in big names. He brought in not some big names. The fan base, that you guys are confused, and I understand it. But things had to change. 112 sacks in the last 3 seasons, guys, that ain't it. So he had to address the offensive line. And the people that are saying, oh, he can't recruit, he's not going to be successful, that's bull. Because he's not only been successful, he hit a grand slam in every position. Like we said before, 2 out of the 5 top safeties in the transfer portal losing Caleb Downs to the Buckeyes. We ain't hurting. And the fact that in his first season, he has alluded to the guys that were down there with me on A-Day, this much confidence. When you're in a room and you're around winners, it's contagious. There's an attitude you feel. There's a sense of just urgency that I haven't seen in a lot of the coaching staff, let alone players' faces in the last couple seasons down there. But that weekend was different. I saw something in when I talked to Jaden Roberts, when I talked to Keanu Coate at the Bryant-Denny Museum. I heard hunger. I heard just wanting to be great. And they both said that's that attitude that Kalen DeBoer brings to the locker room every day, that competition level every day. Change is good. Change is great. And I am happy to say that Alabama has changed for the better. The fan base, I'm going to address this the last time I'm going to say it. Y'all need to lose this Gotham City complex that the Tuscaloosa, T-Town, Titletown is in disarray. Because as we all know, the day is darkest just before the dawn. And Kalen DeBoer is not only bringing the tide, he's bringing everybody with him. And I promise you, by game 3, y'all are going to be what the rest of us are feeling up here. And if you ain't, get off the damn train, go join Hughes's train of whatever they got going on, the dark upper room in the China restaurants down there at the Cal College. But realistically, if you don't understand what an 87% is as a human being, as an adult, then go cheer for Auburn.
I love it. And can I add to this? Kalen DeBoer, to Ty's point, didn't have any 4 or 5 stars, but this speaks to his development. 2 weeks ago, you look at the NFL draft, the guy had 3 first-rounders, like Alabama. 3 receivers get drafted. So the guy knows how to develop talent. So just think what he's getting himself into when he has even better talent in Tuscaloosa, how he's going to develop these guys into even more elite talent for these guys potentially. So the guy can coach, the guy can develop, and like I said, he is a mad scientist that I think people just underestimate because he has that calm, cool, collect demeanor. So continue to disrespect. I love it because we don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Justin.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, people like Clay Travis are clickbait artists in the world that are the minority in the whole grand scheme of things. The majority of media with sense applauds this hire. Let's call it what it is. But you're going to have people like that who get heard a little bit louder than others, but we're going to ignore that. And I saw this in the chat earlier. People who continue to compare this situation to Mike Shula do not understand football whatsoever. There's a couple of things I want to touch on there. There's no comparison. The situations are completely different. Mike Shula was a guy who got pushed into an abysmal situation where there was really no winning. One of the worst times in program history.
It took
Scandal,
over a probation-led team.
Probation, scholarship reduction, bowl ban. I mean, he had to basically get people from flag football to come sign up in order to field a team. And there were times where he had to do just that because half the team was getting hurt. And your best player, Brody Kroll, was hurt 3 out of 4 years there. So it's pretty hard to engineer an offense with a third-string quarterback. No disrespect to Spencer Pennington. Great guy, man of God, love him. But
hey, man, when you can't put a cap on that offensive line, you keep your quarterback hurt.
Word. But if you notice, Shula was starting to develop players the longer he spent there. Things started to get progressively better. When people stayed healthy, you saw how good they were in 2005. We were an injury away from a national championship. And that's the reality of it. But people want to bash him. People want to throw him to the trash heap like he did nothing whatsoever. Was he at a saving level? Absolutely not. But he's not as bad as everybody, makes him out to be. That's just the reality. And Chris, you can attest to that. Matt, you can attest to that. But a lot of this is just willful idiocy from fans who want to see it come crashing down. They think that by willing this into existence, it's going to happen. I'm sorry. The only arena that you can will things into existence to get the outcome that you want is called the WWE. You can go be a writer and develop the next storyline for Cody Rhodes. Then, yeah, you can determine the outcome. But just by willing something to happen does not mean it's going to happen. And Kalen DeBoer is that guy. I don't care what level he coached at. He won and he dominated what was in front of him. And if you expected Sioux Falls to go out and play D1 schools, you're an idiot. So the jokes being made about everywhere he's gone, oh, it's not the same caliber of athlete as where he is now. Okay, so he plays who's in front of him. He's going to show you what he can do when he gets to the SEC with high caliber athletes. So you'll be right back in the boat of hating Alabama for the next 10 or 15 years and begging for him to retire.
And let me jump on to that. And the rosters, great point, Justin. Great points. And the roster back in 03, man, y'all gotta understand, we just lost. Dan to tell you, Kenny King, Kendall Moorhead, Jared Johnson, Brooks Daniels, Wayne Bacon, Gerald Dixon, who else was it? Sam Collins. We lost so much. Who else? Santonio Beard, Maud Galloway. We lost everybody, man. Alonzo Ephraim, Mariko Port. I mean, we lost so many starters. His first signing was Wallace Gilberry. That was a late signing.
Yep.
And so we were depleted, man. We were absolutely depleted.
Hey, Chris, talk to him about how great of a coach in terms of development is in regards to Wallace Gilberry. Wallace was a walk-on dude that people gave absolutely no chance. I remember him being in the weight room early in the mornings with Coach Pollard, with the walk-ons and the red shirt guys. That's where I met Matt, and he was just rolling in from Rose Towers. But Wallace Gilberry was a guy that nobody gave a chance, and he probably played the longest in the NFL out of all those guys that weren't named D'Amico Ryans.
Yep. Yes, and it was crazy. I was talking to Charles Kelly, the old secondary coach, and he told me Wallace Gilberry, they thought they had him until he got an offer. And at the time, he wasn't even coaching FBS level. I think he wasn't coaching Power 5 level. He was somewhere, I can't remember where he told me he was, but they thought they had Wallace Gilberry on a lower tier, like group of 5 type of school.
Yeah.
Bama was like the only big offer he had. Yeah, and how he developed. Like, you don't realize that we were a proto injury away from really being in the conversation with USC and who that they beat the brakes off of that year? Oklahoma in the championship? No, that was the Texas USC game year when Vince Young came back on him. But Bama was up there, like he developed him that year. So the point being that it's not close. What we lost in 02 was we were depleted, man. That 03, we had to play a lot of walk-ons and a lot of guys, that who ended up not playing later on. But this guy right here, DeBoer, is inheriting a team that still, I think, is ranked. Aren't we ranked number 1 talent-wise, Ty, still? In the composite talent? Number 2? Shit, the same thing.
Yeah. He still has more talent than he had.
Yeah, it's not comparable. And then this man's
one's actually ran programs. The other had never ran a college football program.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Coach Shula never had any head coaching experience.
Right.
None.
And he, like Chris said, he didn't have the talent at none of where Kalen DeBoer is. Kalen DeBoer has been to a national championship in this college football era, in this NIL era, with lesser, always having to compete with lesser talent against Oregons, against Texases, and beat those guys. So say what you want to say. Ty, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I gotta address this. First off, Chris saying he doesn't have Scott Huff. It's not Huff's blocking scheme. That's how I know you don't watch film. And if you do, you're not correctly watching film. Yeah, that you just told on yourself. And then Daniel Denning. He said, y'all beat USF 17-3. You want to know what's interesting, gentlemen? You know what USF did that Auburn didn't?
Won a bowl
Get
game.
'em.
Win a
Beat New
bowl
Mexico
game.
State.
No, they won a bowl game. New Mexico State didn't win a bowl game. USF
Oh.
beat the brakes off Syracuse. What was it, 48-0 in a bowl game? I mean, come on now. Let's understand what we're saying before we say it.
Yeah. Listen, Ty, you talking about Luce John was talking about
Horns up.
DeBoer's success rate. What is Hugh's success rate at Massage Me Now down on the Plains?
I will give him that. Impeccable.
It wasn't 87%. That's pretty good.
A lot better than it was against Memphis football.
He had a better chance of scoring at the massage parlor than he did in the red zone.
Let's go.
Much better success rate than schools like Memphis and New Mexico. Maybe that's why they don't recruit well. You know, they didn't play well in that bowl game because he was out, recruiting. There's recruiting code for more massage parlors. Because he doesn't do that well either.
If you'd have spent more time inside the meeting room with them, getting those guys ready for New Mexico instead of the massage party, they might have won that game.
No, they wouldn't have.
Did New Mexico State out recruit Auburn again this year? We need to look into that.
Hey, did y'all see that thing come out? They were judging all the coaches' golf swings at the Regions Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he has the best golf swing. With his marital life, I mean, dude can swing.
Oh my god!
Not only that, he has more time to be on the golf course to prepare while we're preparing for playoff games.
Listen, y'all take it easy on Peter Pettigrew.
Oh,
You win tonight, Ty, for that Harry Potter reference, sir.
Harry Potter reference all day.
Peter Pettigrew, that's great.
Let's go.
Well, speaking of Peter
Mr.
Pettigrew,
Peepers.
you can
Open the
find me
window.
at Hogwarts Haven. No, I'm just playing. You can find me at mcadell11 on Twitter or X. But at the end of the day, you can find me here on the Final Whistle with my brothers, the Bama Standard Final Whistle brothers, every Tuesday night. Listen, we got some more trolls in. Chris Williams, you're doing a good job. Recruit more Auburn fans.
Yeah, Chris
haters.
has got friends.
Chris got a friend, so we love all the Auburn haters. Please come in. We love to roast you all. Maybe we need to do a show like Tom Brady roast. We just roast Auburn.
The roast
You're an
of
Auburn fan.
football.
The
Boom,
roast
roasted.
of Auburn, one episode. But it'll be
We might
coming.
do that
Indian
this summer.
burial ground.
Yeah, it'll be coming soon. So, guys, I'm gonna give it up to the rest of the cast. Ty, around the table. How can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Around the Table Sports, or pretty much anywhere that'll be willing to give me a microphone. Right? Not hard to miss.
Damn,
Dan.
I got a special grace tomorrow.
You can catch me on X at the Final Whistle Dan. Catch me here every Tuesday night, right here with this wonderful cast and Chris.
You pop an X?
You catch me every Wednesday on the Crimson Dynasty with CC Payne and Hannah Stevens as co-hosts. And y'all, I appreciate all the love, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night.
You can't even keep your keys on the table.
Hey, Dan, don't y'all have a special guest tomorrow?
Yes, we do. See, so Chris needs to be very careful because we're gonna have a former teammate of his that I'm gonna be asking some very steamy questions.
Steamy.
Yeah, he stayed.
Who's the guest?
Wesley Britt.
Oh, Wes. I like Wes. Wes is good people.
West, y'all.
Wes good. And guys, you can follow Dan at the old Lady Senior Home Citizen dancing this Saturday night at 4:30 p.m. before the Jello comes out. Come see him. He's gonna be debuting a new outfit.
Don't show him all your moves.
Hey, he will also be ribbon dancing at church during the Usher's anniversary this Sunday.
Will y'all go to a Catholic church?
There's a ribbon in the sky for all. Stevie Wonder.
He's gonna be making the ribbons.
Chris, how can they find you? Say?
You can find me over there in house beating him up in a few minutes. He don't stop. But you can find me on X at Coach Chris James. You can find me on Instagram at the Final Whistle Chris, and you can find me
in the obituary. You keep on talking.
You can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. That's where you're gonna find me the most. And you can also find me here with the best cast in America. Well, not just America, the world, with the Avengers. Dan's on the squirrel off on what's his name? The squirrel off of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, that's
the raccoon.
He the raccoon, I meant. Not the squirrel, but the raccoon. But you can find me here with those guys, man. This is the best cast I've ever like. It's never a dull moment. I wish like we could put together what we do like behind the scenes. That would be like
no.
That would
we'll get canceled.
I like my freedom.
Yeah. We can follow Dan as he goes from nursing home to nursing home.
Chris, when you were talking about Dan twirling that ribbon, all I could think about was Will Ferrell in Old School.
Yeah.
Oh, old school.
Oh Lord,
in a Speedo.
Yeah,
we gotta keep our heads, guys.
In a leotard.
Can't lose your composure.
Hey man, hey,
Come on, Blue.
Man, them Social Security checks be coming in handy, man.
I know it. You not full over there.
Look how Dan
Is that what they tip you with? Their Social Security check?
Hey,
Put it in your underwear?
man. We gonna call him Big Meech.
I tell them to ball them up first, but them paper cuts ain't nice.
Insure shots and Social Security checks.
They be putting dentures in there too.
You ought to see the love letters he got.
Dan's got a sign that says "Dentures out, ladies."
My dearest Dan. Love all that.
Ernestine. Lucian. How can they
you can find me as the special guest referee to the Saturday night bout coming up at the end of the month between Chris James and Dan James, baby.
Woo, woo, woo.
I'm gonna make a diss track for Chris.
Oh, here we go.
You gonna make a diss track?
Stay tuned for the diss tracks.
Okay, Drake.
Speaking of diss, look at Vance.
Big Frida. Oh man.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Pause.
You can find me on X at Rolush21 and on Facebook and Instagram as Lucian Graves. And most importantly, you can find me on the Bama Standard, the Final Whistle, Tuesday nights, surrounded by the greatest panelists talking about the
Muted, brother.
You went out, dog. You went out.
Is he saying bad words and YouTube just cut him out?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got on a little cussing. They made me pause. My bad. But on the greatest show on the planet, talking about the greatest team with now the greatest head coach. And we're ready to go. Roll daggum tide.
This is for you, Chris Williams.
Pat.
Speaking of where Lucian and Chris can be found, for those of you who are unaware, a documentary was filmed the weekend of A-Day. And pretty soon, the interview that they held with Jaden Roberts is going to be released, as well as what they did with Keanu Coote. So be on the lookout for that. Bama Standard was featured in a documentary that's going to be upcoming. So everybody be on the lookout for that. You'll definitely enjoy what you see.
In addition, they got my good side on the camera.
Oh, when the lens cap was on?
They edited that out, Justin.
I love you, Justin.
Speaking of up and coming, Petty.
Hey man,
does anything pop in your mind?
No, did he?
Part until Thursday, buddy. So hold off on that part. On
Petty,
up and
before I
coming.
give it to you, college football, EA Sports is releasing the college football 2025 game. Do you not know that they have a special edition feature NIL for Auburn coach Hugh Freeze? It's called escorts.com in there. So is there any other features that you know, again, in the Auburn edition of the EA Sports game?
Well, instead of dynasty mode, it's farmersonly.com mode.
Hey.
You don't got to be lonely.
Hey, and when it comes to recruiting, all the 4 and 5 stars are blacked out. They only can recruit 3 stars and 2 stars.
It asks you, it probably prompts you. If you pick Auburn, it says, "Are you sure you don't want to take over a team with more talent like New Mexico State?"
No, look,
Troy.
Yeah, if you pick Auburn, they send you that thing. Make sure it's not spam. You know, that little box you got to click on the bicycles and stuff.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Are you a human?
Yeah,
Are you not a robot?
Solve the reCAPTCHA.
Okay.
This now they will flip some group of 5 players now.
Every time Auburn scores, there's going to be a
No, they
voiceover on the video game. Said, "Me love you long time." Just for you.
I wonder how much lotion they go through as a university every year.
Toilet tissue and lotion, bad combination.
And that's just Hugh alone.
Right.
Sticky
That's
trees.
just the coaching staff.
The
Boy,
baby
like,
trying to throw the toilet tissue to get stuck.
Actually, they don't go through much tissue because they don't have much to celebrate.
Patty, how can they find you, sir?
Man, find me hiding from this show to the next from all the Auburn fans of mine. No, man, catch me on Twitter at Petty_Daniel. Catch me on Facebook at Petty. You can just look under my name. There's only one Pettey and Daniel. I'll be there. My pretty smiling face. And look, man, every Tuesday night with these beautiful gentlemen surrounding me. And every once in a while, apparently they're going to pull me on the Bama Standard at 7. As I'm the dead-lip shrimp of that show. I'm the 6th man, man. They just call me in all the time. That's for you old 90s basketball fans.
Yeah, to tell you, I cried when he died in that car.
Detlef Trent, man. He was the 6th man of the year every year. I'm apparently that guy for the 7 o'clock show.
Oh,
yeah. I'm thinking about Drowns and Petrovic. My bad with
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know Detlef died. I was just going to go along with it. You said it.
I'm sorry.
He's still alive, my knowledge.
But no, man, every Tuesday night with you guys is the best hour of the week, man. Come check us out. Don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
And we like to hit those 2 words. We don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Roll Tide.
Blitz them
Roll
blitz.
Tide, y'all.
Roll Tide.
Forget
Nothing
all
but it.